start our next match in pool play.
You heard the announcement from John Bike there. This is Sean Lenning versus Paul Brady. This is pool number 2, round number 1.
Okay, we're back to Pro Division pool play here, and this opening round match in Pool B, we have from the Salt Lake City Aces, 9-time national champion, 4-time world champion, ranked 7th for this event. From County Cavan, Ireland, please welcome Paul Brady.
And
Hands
Dave,
together.
How good does Paul look in that WPH jersey?
Paul looks really good, and you see a lot of respect between these two players here. Last time they met, it was
serving with roots here in Seattle.
Amazing tiebreaker.
Second in this Race for 8 tour from the Seattle WAC team. Please welcome Sean Lenning.
And Dave, Paul Brady has already picked 4 wedgies before this match even started.
Our linesmen are Jeremy Morton and Matt McLaughlin.
So you're keeping track of that then.
2 games to 15,
keeping track
win
of
by
everything.
2, 11-point
Including how
tiebreaker
many
if necessary.
jokes that you bomb between matches. That's 7.
What was the score when these two faced each other at the U.S. Open in the breaker? 11-9?
Yes.
Wow.
0, serving 0.
Truly amazing match.
And you think Paul has to be thinking of that here.
Side out.
That's what Paul Brady does, Dave. You know, even his misses, which are rare,
0,
Dave, look
serving
perfect.
0.
They come off his hand perfect.
Point.
Dave, we watched Paul play yesterday, and you and him
0.
just sparred, tipped around a little bit. But did you realize how good his hands were?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
How he's able to go side to side and catch up and flip a ball back and put it in a defensive spot?
Well, it's just the perfect contact is what I noticed more than
2,
anything.
serving
Every
0.
shot. Even
Point.
the shots, Dave, that he misses, and a lot of that had to do with him just sort of
3,
tipping around.
serving 0.
But it comes off his hand in the perfect spot every time.
Well, that's a huge setup for Paul. He's just putting it down into the left corner there. Now another point at 4-0.
2 30-second timeouts.
And Sean does not know the rules, Dave.
Actually,
4, serving 0.
we text this morning. He asked that exact same thing, and he said, cool, as a response.
And Dave,
Point.
it does not look like Paul is having any trouble adjusting to this ball, which is significantly heavier and harder
5, serving 0.
than the ball he's used to using.
Point.
Dave, that's already 3 flat rollouts from Paul Brady in 6
Timeout
points.
Lenning.
Unbelievable run right there.
30 seconds. Score is 6, serving 0.
You know, Dave, this gallery, and I think even you and I are a little bit stunned right now at this start. I mean, Sean has not even had an opportunity to score. He hit his first serve, came about a foot off the back wall. Paul Brady rolls it out flat. Since then, Paul has won 6 consecutive rallies in the server's box. He's up 6-0. I mean, Sean just hasn't even had a chance yet, Dave,
0.
to take a full swing. And Dave, I know you watched Paul Brady as he was serving for the cameras. Another kill shot from Paul. He double bounced 10 consecutive
7,
serves to
serving
the
0.
back wall. I mean, if you think that's not difficult, go in and try and do it once.
But he did it nonchalantly yesterday in practice, and he wasn't even doing a full swing, which makes me believe maybe we're trying to hit it too hard. Paul's found the sweet spot.
Well, I think Paul has the perfect technique, and he makes it look like he's not taking a full swing.
Point.
And there's another quick point for Paul Brady.
You know, Dave, it's almost like watching McIlroy. It looks like he's not even swinging hard,
serving
Rory
0.
McIlroy. But it's just his technique is so perfect, and he's got the fastest hip turn in the history of golf, and it makes it look like he's literally just warming up when he's hitting 350-yard drives. And there's the first air from Paul, and that ball popped up for him. That's a shot that Paul normally makes.
0, serving 8. Short.
Dave, Paul is probably the most humble champion I've ever been around. I mean, the guy's just truly amazing.
Now, you went out to dinner with
Point.
Paul last night.
Actually, I didn't call him in time, so I regretfully didn't. Wish I had.
1, serving 8.
Dave, I'm an even bigger fan of Paul Brady now. He has just recently started golfing. I know you won't like that because it's not
Right out.
part of the match, but he says he's out there and he's really enjoying it. He's taking a series of lessons in Ireland.
8, serving 1.
Well, that's going to be scary. That's a flat roll from Sean Lenning, and the local crowd loves that.
1, serving 8. Point.
And that's a shot that Paul Brady might miss once every tournament.
2, serving 8.
Looked like he hit it well. Dave, you know, Sean can make runs against anybody. We saw him come back against Paul at the U.S. Open. Was actually down 14-9 there in the second game after losing the first game, and ended up winning that game 21-14. So he outscored Paul Brady 12-0. So he's capable of doing it.
8, serving 2.
I actually think, Dave, that these shorter 15-point games favor Paul because Paul has a tendency, Dave, as great as he is, I think sometimes he loses his concentration a little bit just because he's won
9,
so much.
serving 2. Oh, it's foot fault.
And he had Sean completely fooled there, Dave.
Second serve.
Well, that inside out down the right is designed to slide. Paul takes it a step further. If he's thinking to himself, if I do a head fake and they're going to the left, then I need to hit a natural down the right side. A lot of these other players will do those head fakes and then they'll throw a hook to where when the player corrects
10,
themselves,
serving
the
2.
hook comes back to them and helps them out. Paul actually does it the right way.
Dave, I just
Point.
watch Paul Brady and I think to myself, how can anybody be this good at anything? I mean,
11, serving 2.
Scores 11-2. Playing 2-15, as voted on by Sean
Sean actually
and the
voted
players.
for
Side out.
2 games to 11, best of 3 to 11.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so let's clear that up.
2, serving 11.
A lot of misinformation
He
out
would have
there.
just got 2 points.
Well, I'm not saying what he would have scored. I'm just saying what he voted on. Of course, Dave, Paul Brady emailing you.
Side up.
I don't care what format we play.
I'm just there to win. That was his quote.
That's scary.
11,
I don't care
serving
what
2.
you play to. Well, he doesn't plan on having a deficit, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter, really, would it?
12, serving 2.
12-2.
Point.
I mean, are there golfers that can birdie every hole, Dave? Because that's pretty much what Paul Brady
13,
does.
serving 2.
I mean, he's playing, Dave, the second-ranked player in the world.
Yes, I called the serve good.
And Sean, who's one of the greats in this sport, can't do anything
One agrees.
right now.
One disagrees. Call stands. Point. 14, serving 2.
Paul overhits that serve a little bit. Sean puts him back in the back court. And Dave, against anybody else, that's a safe
Brady,
shot.
15.
You know, Paul's
You
moving
have
back to his
3
left. He's
minutes.
38 feet away. And he aims and hits the exact spot that he's aiming for with the right spin on it to keep the ball on the wall. But the ball is an inch high anyway.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Paul throwing that ball back to the referee. I actually respect that because
Yeah.
as a player, you want that ball to stay warm, and you know the referee's going to hold it in his pocket.
Well,
but if
John
it's-
Bike actually sits on it.
well,
That's what
down
he
here,
says he does.
down here, the ball actually gets cold on this court. You're watching the live broadcast, racefor8.com, Sean Lenning versus Paul Brady. You saw the first time that they, I should say, within the last 6 months that they faced each other was Sean Lenning losing in that breaker 11-9 at the U.S. Open. Here, a little bit different story. There's a 3-minute break now. We're going to take a quick break as well here in the booth. We'll be back in about 2 minutes for game number 2. Stick around at racefor8.com.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, Don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
For 20 years, the Inner City Handball Association has educated, mentored, and served young people through handball. Young people that participate in the Inner City Handball Association programs have a high graduation rate from high school and continue on to college. Inner City Handball teams are good athletes, good students, and good ambassadors for the sport of handball. We need your help to continue our work. Inner City Handball Association is a registered 501c3 tax-exempt charity. Please donate today. Thank you.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. Our non-toxic, biodegradable, all-purpose cleaner works great for cleaning it. Thank you. Non-toxic, biodegradable, Simple Green. It's great for cleaning.
Second game about to start.
Back in Seattle, Washington at the Washington Athletic Club. Game number
Brady
2.
serving, 0.
Dave, does Paul feel like he has something to prove here against Sean? Because the only times they've played, Paul's beat him 11-10 in a
One
tiebreaker
serving
and
zero.
11-9 in a tiebreaker. Does he say to himself, you know what? I want to prove to everyone that I can beat Sean just like I beat everyone else?
Two,
Or is he just
serving
going there,
zero.
Dave, and just focus on the ball and
Point.
what he's trying to do?
I really don't know. You know what I think it is? I think
Three,
the format's
serving
getting
zero.
to him.
To Sean?
Yeah.
Short.
I don't
Second serve.
understand why it would. You know, Dave, in Sean's last 2 outings, the first being the semifinal loss to Shanks in Salt Lake City, and now this back-to-back, Sean has been outscored. Sorry, Dave, I'm doing some math in my head here. I know I should have this prepared before I start speaking.
4
19-2, I
serving
believe.
0.
Well, 26-3 by Charlie Shanks. So if you factor that in,
Side out.
now you're talking about 44-5
0
in
serving
his
4.
last 49 points played in tournament play.
Point.
Both coming from Irish players.
Well, that's what the Irish do, Dave.
One
They come here and they
serving
dominate.
4.
We have one Irish player on our tour. He's number 1. But remember, Dave, before Sean lost to Charlie Shanks 26-3, he beat Martin Markerns 26-3. I mean, how do you explain that? Martin Markerns is a
4 serving
serious
1.
player who came off a win against Emmett Peugeot.
Point.
And that was short, I thought. Dave?
I thought it was short. And
Okay.
then Martin beats
5
Robbie
serving
McCarthy a
1.
week later.
And
5
Mar-
serves 1.
Point.
Now that's 6-1. But this front wall camera looking back, it's really hard to judge whether that ball is short or
Yeah, Sean didn't
6
appeal it.
serving
Sean
1.
has good eyes. You know, Dave, I talked to a good friend of Sean Lenning's, Don Curry, the other day, and Don told me when he was at the Nationals in 2005, he was watching
serving
Sean,
6.
and he had a guy kept looking over his left shoulder trying to catch a glimpse, and Dave, that guy was Paul Brady.
What tournament again?
That was at the Nationals, 2005. Now, I'm just reporting the story as I heard it.
Well, don't think that Paul's not catching what's going
6
on.
serving 1.
Paul knew all about Luis Moreno back when Luis was 18 years old. He knew that he would be the one.
7 serving 1.
Dave, as a Sean Lenning fan, do you want to see some more fire from Sean, or?
I do.
Okay.
Sean is the greatest offensive player I've ever seen, but I don't know how you can say that when you've got Paul Brady just playing the way that Paul Brady plays.
Dave, Paul Brady has picked more wedgies than Sean has scored points
1 serving
in
7.
this match.
Short.
Do you have the actual score line on that, or?
Well, yeah, it's actually 11-5, and I'm not including the wedges he picked before the match started, which, as you know, was also 5.
I don't know that, actually.
Well, I told it to you, so
well,
you chose to
I was
forget.
hoping not to believe it.
7 serving 1.
I guess the only competition for Paul Brady is, does he pick more wedgies than Rafael Nadal? Pound for pound. Now, Nadal's matches are longer, so you have to factor that in. I'm talking about for the amount of time they're on the court.
Apparently the announcers feel it's valid enough to bring it up. More so in handball than tennis.
Well, they talk about it in tennis, actually. There's a similarity there. I know you'll be disgusted by that there is something that happens in another sport, because we want this to be completely unique.
Second serve. Point.
And Dave, does this just take all the air out of you when you have a guy like Paul Brady do this to you? I mean,
9 serving 1.
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, we've all had it done to us where you're just in there just not really able to do anything. And you're telling yourself, you know, I want to try and I want to push myself, but I just can't do anything.
Ten serving 1. Replay.
Fortunate there for Sean that it hits Paul on the way in, because that was going to be one of Paul's patented flat rollouts.
1. Short. Skip. Side out. 1 serving 10. Short.
And that's the problem, Dave, when you
Second serve.
are unable to get into that service box, you never get into the groove. And Sean has a great serve.
Side out.
Dave, I think Paul is better with this ball. I think the
10
heavier ball
serving
actually
1.
suits his game. I mean, clearly he's going to win with any ball, but
Point.
if you're going to talk about how much better he is than everybody else, I think
11
that's even
serving
magnified
1.
with this hard ball. I don't know if you agree with me or not, Dave.
Side out.
I'm just not sure. I don't have a lot of evidence, but he's
Just
playing
1
like he's
serving
better
11.
than
I'm not
everybody else
necessarily
with it.
saying there's evidence. I'm just saying the style he plays and
Point.
the types of shots he hits, he's able to flatten his
2
ball out
serving
more
11.
and keep it down better.
Yeah, I think I'd rather play with this softer ball against him. I
Yeah.
don't want to play him either way, but then again, I lose my own tricks. So,
Side out.
and you know, comfort. And I think Paul's very comfortable with it. I'm not sure if he plays better, but
11
he
serving
looks very
2.
comfortable. 11-2.
Point.
Oh, that ball just skips right over the line for a point.
12 serving 2. Point. Thirteen serving 2. Point.
Now at 14-2.
And Dave, I believe Sean only scored 2 in the first game as well.
14 serving 2. That's the
There
match.
it is.
Paul Brady.
Paul Brady takes
15-2,
down Sean
15-2.
Lenning in a record time here, 15 minutes and 8 seconds.
And Dave, remember, and we'll listen in here with Tracy really quickly here. Tracy.
Congratulations on your win there, Paul. Not the performance I think people were looking to see. Sean was a little lackluster. You just came out with both guns blazing. How much training did you have before coming to this tournament?
I haven't. I've been resting the last few weeks. I had a lot of training done earlier in the year, but the last month I've done very little actually. You know, I didn't prepare very much, but so far it's proven to my advantage because I feel fresh. But I wasn't very focused coming, so I didn't know what to expect. So that's why I couldn't let up, because I'm just not that confident at the minute. But as the tournament goes on, hopefully I get more confident.
Well, from what we just saw, that looked like a lot of confidence out there. I mean, you were hitting flat rollouts from any position on the court. So
I think it was more fear. Fear, you know, I know what Sean can do. I had a big lead in the US Open against him and he came back. So it was just more fear. I couldn't let up. I was staying very relaxed as I could, and like I say, I probably played better than if I had trained really hard. So sometimes it works out like that. You know, all that early. I've done about 12 to 16 weeks training early, 15 weeks earlier in the year. But the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've just been resting up. So hopefully, if the tournament goes on, I'll see the benefit of that. So I feel good. So I'm just going to enjoy. I'm here to enjoy the tournament and, you know, get ready for the nationals. You know, and use this to see where everyone's at.
Well, great. Congratulations on that match. It's a very dominating performance. You face Luis Moreno next. Normally that's a finals match, even the match against Sean right now. So you face both of those opponents who have given you tough matches in the past. How are you going to prepare for tonight's match?
Just the same, just relaxed. You know, I don't feel any pressure. You know, like I say, you know, I want to come here and this is all preparation for the nationals. You know, that's what I'm focused on. So I'm just going to relax and enjoy it and see what happens. You know, just going to give my best shot, and that's all I can do.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you play tonight at 9 o'clock. Thank you. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you. Tracy Davis with Paul Brady there, kind of sending a message to all the other players that I'm just here, you know, having a relaxed tournament.
Yeah.
But I'm here to focus on, you know, preparing for the nationals. And when Paul talks about preparing, it isn't just, you know, facing Luis Moreno and facing Sean Lenning and trying to maybe go up against some of the guys that he would face in the nationals. He talked about the whole experience of flying to America, coming from Ireland. It takes a lot of work, Dave, and you have to put yourself in their shoes. You flew from Pittsburgh to Ireland and played in the World Championships. It's a complete process that you have to go through in order to prepare yourself for a professional match. And you know that exactly what I'm talking about here. Paul is just trying to get that out of the way again and get back into the feeling of coming into a tournament. Is that how you gather it?
Well, almost like a dress rehearsal for Paul. He's going to play the same guys that he'll probably be playing at the Nationals, and not only is he getting himself prepared physically for the traveling, but he's also sending a message to these guys like, look, I'm not vulnerable. I know that Luis might have almost beat me in that first game at the World Championships, and a lot of people think maybe, you know, Luis had the easier draw and I got a good break there, but I'm just here to dominate, and Paul's not going to say that, but he lets his game do his talking for him, and that's pretty much what his game said in that 15-minute match with Sean just now.
Paul Brady defeats Sean Lenning 15 minutes and 8 seconds by the score of 15-2, 15-2. We have in 15 minutes another match coming up. We want you to stick around for it. Charlie Shanks and Emmett Peixoto. It was voted as the #1 match of the Race for 8 season to this point. It happened in Denver, Colorado. The altitude obviously much different. Let's talk a little bit about that since we're still on microphone here and camera. What was exciting about that overtime match that they played, and all the fans that were there rooting them on, and the big comebacks and the amazing gets? Is that something that we could see in this 15-point format?
I think we will. I mean, Emmett and Charlie have been playing for a long time. They're about the same age. They played in the juniors. They played coming up as pros. I can remember the first time I saw Charlie play, Dave, was at the 2007 U.S. Open, where he blitzed Emmett in the first game. Emmett came back and beat him. Then Emmett beat him again in 2008. Since then, Dave, it's been Charlie Shanks who's had the upper hand on Emmett, even though Emmett beat Charlie this year in Tucson. That was Emmett's best win of the season. But, you know, Charlie Shanks, Dave, is #1 for a reason. He's #1 because he's had the most success of any player this season. I'm expecting a close match. Charlie's serve is certainly the X factor. Emmett makes a lot of gets, but if Charlie's able to win 5 or 6 free points per game on his serve, it's going to be hard for Emmett to withstand that, because Emmett probably won't hit that many ace serves, but Emmett does have the edge in speed. Conditioning, Dave, you talk about Emmett being one of the most well-conditioned. I think Charlie Shanks is as well. I don't think you'll see Charlie Shanks wear down at all. Both guys have good lefts. Emmett's left is probably a little bit better, but Charlie Shanks has a lot more power with both hands, and Charlie Shanks keeps you off balance. He's able to hop the ball. And, Dave, I think we're in for a great match. I mean, both guys looked strong this morning. Charlie got off to a slow start, came back against Nadi, actually outscored Nadi 20-2 in the last 22 points in that match. And Emmett also took control of his match and, you know, came back from a 10-5 deficit in the first game and cruised in that match. So probably looking at, Dave, the winner of that match winning this pool.
Okay. Well, let's see how that fares out. About 15 minutes from now, we'll have Charlie Shanks versus Emmett Peixoto. You stick around. More Race for 8 action as the Players' Championship continues at the Washington Athletic Club in Seattle. Alongside David Fink, my name is Dave Vincent. You stick around, more handball right around the corner at racefor8.com.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh,
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
oh no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
For 20 years, the Inner City Handball Association has educated, mentored, and served young people through handball. Young people that participate in the Inner City Handball Association programs have a high graduation rate from high school and continue on to college. Inner City Handball teams are good athletes, good students, and good ambassadors for the sport of handball. We need your help to continue our work. Inner City Handball Association is a registered 501c3 tax-exempt charity. Please donate today. Thank you.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. Our non-toxic, biodegradable, all-purpose cleaner works great for cleaning it. Thank you. Non-toxic, biodegradable, Simple Green. It's great for cleaning.